Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Levi, and joining me now is UFC lightweight Jordan Rinaldi. Jordan, welcome back to Half the Battle.
Thanks for having me again, man. I appreciate it.
Oh man, the pleasure's all mine. So dude, it got announced recently that not only are you fighting Gregor Gillespie, but you finally get a hometown fight in Charlotte. That must be pretty exciting, right?
Absolutely. I didn't expect the UFC to come back to Charlotte anytime soon, even North Carolina, because we had some kind of crazy laws here. But when they came out that they were having it in Charlotte, it was a no-brainer. I was going to be on the card.
You know, the last time you fought in Charlotte was against LaShawn back in October 2015. You won via second round armbar. Is it almost like coming full circle now that you get to come back with the UFC?
It kind of is, I started here as an amateur. This is where I was raised and grew up, and started as an amateur, had my first amateur and then my first pro fight, and now my third fight in the UFC. Perfect timing and everything. It's really great.
So, man, you're taking on a very tough opponent. They don't give Jordan Rinaldi any cupcakes, man, because, look, we obviously know this kid's wrestling credentials. He wrestled with Jordan Burroughs in the finals, and not to mention he knocked a couple people out recently. So what's your assessment of your opponent, Gregor Gillespie?
He's like you said, a really good wrestler, very blue-collar type wrestler, too. Just always working hard. He sets a pace that most people can't handle, so he really outworks people, and his striking is pretty good. It's pretty basic boxing, but it's very clean. His top game is really good when he does get people down, and his submission game is pretty solid as well.
Now, do you feel like your size is going to be a big factor in this fight? Because, I've always said it, Jordan Rinaldi is one of the bigger lightweights on the roster. Gregor's one of the smaller guys. We know Gregor's probably going to be pretty fast because he is smaller, but do you think your size will be a big factor here?
Somewhat. I've fought all the way down at 45 before a couple times, which I never want to do again. But I think I'm a solid 155er, and I think Gregor might be one of the smaller ones. Yeah. So I think that will be a decent advantage for me. I have a long reach as well with my hands and my legs, so I think that can play into advantage for me for sure.
Jordan, I'd be willing to make a wager that you'd fight at 170 before you fight at 145 again.
I've actually contemplated it. Going back down to 45 because the weight cuts are getting really easy for me, and I've thought about going back to 45, and it depends on what kind of offers I would have and what kind of situation is going on with the lightweight division, But as for right now, I'm really happy at 45. And back to Gregor and me, Gregor's fought some huge lightweights in the past. Glyco guy, and also I forgot the last one he fought, but one of them was 6'2", so he's got experience with people that are bigger than him for sure.
That's a very good point. Yeah, Glyco França is a huge guy, and obviously the last guy, Jason Gonzalez, as well. Now, you just mentioned your weight cuts are getting better and easier. Can you kind of talk to me about what you've been doing, man? Because I was always under the assumption that, Jordan Rinaldi's barely making 55, but apparently I'm wrong.
Well, I just got my diet right, and then for the last I think it's been 3 years now, I've been working with the same strength and conditioning coach, and not only has he got me stronger and faster, but it's really helped my conditioning and holding my weight at a lower number throughout camp and on the off season as well. So, just the different strength and conditioning, as well as being more disciplined as I get older in my diet.
So, to put it simply, you're not cutting 20 to 30 pounds on fight week.
No, I'm not up for that kind of stuff. I forgot it was Kevin Lee and whatever his name is that fought. I can't think of it right now, but they were talking about they were weighing 190 the week of weigh-ins or 185. I said, "Are you out of your mind? That's one, that's not good for performance, and two, yeah, 30 pounds to lose in a week. That's terrible."
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Do you feel like you're really locked in right now with your diet and your strength and conditioning, and that's why, you are able to comfortably make 155 every single time?
Absolutely. It's just all the pieces are coming together. I've kind of fine-tuned everything, and that's why I'm having the success that I am, and the weight cuts are so easy.
So, man, not only are you fighting in Charlotte, not only do you have a big opponent in Gregor Gillespie, but look at the placement they put you on that card. As far as I'm concerned, they told me that you're the co-main event, the featured bout, the third to last fight on the main card. I mean, talk about coming full circle from when you fought Clay Harvison back in center stage.
Yep. I mean, I think I'm actually fourth to last. I'm not sure, but third or fourth. Either way, I'm on the main card on my third fight in the UFC. Either they're expecting big things out of me or Gregor, and I think they're trying to build Gregor up. But at the same time, when I go out there and win this fight, people are going to get notice of me from, being on that main card, having that pressure on me, going in front of my hometown and getting a big win against an undefeated guy. And so I'm really blessed to have the opportunity to fight on the main card of any UFC event, and just for it to be in my hometown. I mean, it's fantastic.
Look, Jordan, you've had 18 professional fights. You've fought at home. You've went to other people's towns. So when you say something like, the UFC is trying to build Gregor up, I know for someone with less experience, they might take that personally. But for you, who is very experienced, do you view it as motivation? Is it a non-factor? What's your opinion on that?
It's a non-factor, really. I mean, I understand that they need big stars and everything like that. And Gregor is charismatic. He's nice. He could be a good person to thrust into the limelight. But, I mean, this is our job. We go out there to fight because the stuff on paper doesn't really count for anything. It's important, but we go out there and execute what we know on Saturdays. And if we win, that's what happens, And just because he has an undefeated record doesn't mean he's going to beat me. That's why we actually fight, So I don't care if he's the big favorite, which I know he is the big favorite, but it's fine with me. It takes more pressure off of me, that's for sure. If I go out there and lay the wood on him and I'm the underdog, it looks even better for me.
Yeah, and as a betting man, which I am, my friend, we always say on this show, everyone has to take that first L. No one is exempt. So I'm sticking by that. And Jordan, I got to ask you, man, because obviously we mentioned the placement on the card. We mentioned the big matchup. But one thing I want to talk about is I heard the UFC recently flew you out to do some promo for this fight.
Well, I was going to fly out to Vegas. There was a little misunderstanding. For some reason, the media people who were trying to do it thought I was still living in Vegas. So they're like, yeah, can you just come out to the Performance Institute? And I was like, no, I'm in Charlotte. So instead they flew out to Charlotte and brought a crew out here and filmed me just at home and at my main gyms here in Charlotte.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, what was that like having the whole camera crew come out there? And, it really lets you know, like, look, I'm doing this thing, man.
Yeah, it's just part of the process of growing in it and getting more experience and becoming more and more elite over time, and it really lets me know that people are taking me more seriously now that not only am I on the main card, but they're actually taking time to promote me as well.
So, Jordan, you've won 6 of your last 7 fights, and I mean, how do you feel about your career progression? Because you've come a long way.
Well, there's been some ups and downs, that's for sure, but the 6 out of 7 in the last 7, I love that. I think if I would have had a little more time to prepare for the Abel fight just mentally, I think I could have done better. And I thought it was a really close fight anyway. I think he won, but I think it was a really close fight, and I could be on a 7-fight win streak right now, but things happen for a reason, and I'm happy with my career right now, but I'm not done with my career, and that's the big thing. I feel like I'm just getting started with fine-tuning my strength and conditioning, finding places to train in Charlotte that I've always trained at, but also finding places in Atlanta and other places throughout the country that might open the door for me to get another vantage point, and perspective. So it's really nice to have the opportunities that have been given to me so far, and this is just another step,
Well, Jordan, I'm an ATL boy. How's that training been here in Atlanta?
It's been great. My wife has a job there. That's why I'm there half the time. So training at ACT Gwinnett is the main place I train at down there. And the guys are fantastic with the Lima brothers and Jacal. Mike Graves comes in sometimes, and Clint Hester. There's a lot of good guys down there, and I love it. They really push me. And I like going with the bigger guys, too, because I don't know, I get the Napoleon complex with them, so I kind of have to prove myself. But it's really good. The training's great. I go down to Knuckle Up as well, and train with Chaz a lot, and so the training. I would say that technical training and the number of high level guys there is better than in Charlotte, but just my home gym at Team Rock in Charlotte is where I'm comfortable. It's where I started and where I want to finish my career.
So you mentioned the Lima brothers, and I got to ask you because next week Douglas Lima is defending his belt against the very popular Rory McDonald. I assume you're going with ATL's own, but how do you see that fight going down?
I really want Douglas to win. I mean, I like that guy. He's a super nice guy, hard worker, powerful in everything he does. Kicks, punches, everything is really good, and his jiu-jitsu is really crisp. So, I mean, I see Lima winning. I don't know if he can knock McDonald out, but I would like to see it end in the first 2-3 rounds. I think McDonald might have a little cardio edge, but I think Douglas has been underrated his whole career. His last loss, I believe, was to Korshkov maybe, and he got that back, but also to Ben Askren, which nobody's beaten Ben Askren. I mean, the guy's a monster. So I think Douglas gets a little written off because he's in Bellator, but he's one of the best in the world, man.
Oh, he really is, and I know if you've sparred with him, I know you know about that calf kick, right?
Oh, I know the calf kick. I know of every kick he throws, and it hurts. It's not fun. I mean, he's a bruiser, that's for sure, and he's good as a training partner and everything. But you're gonna feel those kicks, Rory, without a doubt.
So, Jordan, you know you couldn't escape without the hard-hitting questions, my man. So I got to ask you, what's going on with those Carolina Panthers?
Oh gosh. Man, my heart broke on Sunday. It was pretty terrible, but I mean, we had a good year for the receiving core that we had. I think we did pretty well, you know. I mean, Atlanta got away with having who was it, the Rams in the first round or the Vikings?
Rams, yeah.
Rams. They were a hollow shell, you know. I didn't have any faith in them at all going into the season or on that McVee bandwagon that was going on. You Atlanta people got a lucky one when y'all get to play them. We would have smashed them for sure. But I mean, New Orleans is on a tear. They're a good team.
Hey, I'll tell you this: I look forward to our double showdown next season.
Yeah, for sure. My wife was going to get me tickets to the last game at Atlanta this year on New Year's Eve, I believe it was, with Carolina and Atlanta, but it was a good thing we didn't because I'm up in Charlotte training, you know, so I wouldn't have been able to make it anyway.
Yes, sir. That would have been a nice gift, but there's always next season. And Jordan, before you go, man, look, I know you'll take a victory by any means necessary. You've been doing this for a while. This is your 19th pro fight. But if it were up to you, how would this fight with you and Gregor Gillespie go down January 27th at UFC on Fox?
If it was up to me, I mean, the first 20 seconds, the fight's over, you know? I mean, get in and get out, no brain damage. First round knockout is how I would love to do it. But, you know, that's why we go out there and fight to see how it plays out.
Well, Jordan, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me right here, right now on Half the Battle. It's always a pleasure. The fans can follow you at Jordan Rinaldi on Twitter. Jordan, any message for the fans before we go?
No, just I appreciate it. I hope y'all can show up even if you're from Atlanta, and I'm sorry for that, but if y'all can drive up from Atlanta, come and enjoy some fights, the UFC fights that haven't been around in North Carolina in a long time, and follow me. I appreciate all the support from the fans.
Absolutely, Jordan. You have a great day, and best of luck in the rest of camp.
Appreciate it. Take care, Daniel.